Watch NDSU take on the North Dakota Fighting Hawks in a doubleheader starting Saturday at noon. Bison softball only on WDAY Extra. Send your weather-related photos or video to the WDAY Storm Tracker team. Contact weather@WDAY.com or share them with us on Facebook and Instagram. Keeping an eye on the sky. The WDAY Storm Tracker team.
Somebody has to stand up for victims.
Detective Stabler, my partner, Detective Benson.
It took a lot of courage to get up on that stand.
She's not gonna ever be able to hurt you again.
I promise you, I'll protect you.
Weekdays at 12 p.m. You're watching WDAY Extra. Hot Mic with Dom Izzo.
Really? Really, Dom?
No. I like what Dom's doing.
Okay.
Dom Izzo.
Jeez, come on, Dom. What do you think I am, a magician?
Yeah, I'm fired up, Dom. What else could I say?
Absolutely. It was great to get on the field, and then Dom came up to me, and I'm trying to walk away from me. I just wanted to enjoy myself out there.
Hot Mic.
Great job.
There's got to be some kind of intelligent question about something. Is
Hot Mic. Hot Mic. On the networks of WDAY.
You know, if it's not about sports, I find it very hard to concentrate.
Here's Dom Izzo. Dom Izzo.
Good morning. It is draft day. And it's draft day on Hot Mic. For the fourth consecutive year, we will bring you the Hot Mic mock draft on this 27th day of April, 2023. For those that don't observe, you're missing out on one of the great days in American sports. We are ready to celebrate in full style. It's a day of hope for those that follow professional football, even for those that follow college football. Today is an exciting day because it's one of renewal, one of excitement, one that is set to potentially change a franchise for the better. And we are ready and loaded today. And I have a full studio here full of football rubes that are ready to help us with our mock draft this year. All of our WDAY brethren are here. Eric Bunnell, our executive producer, in the house. I still can't believe we're sharing the same studio considering what went down this week. It's good to see you.
Good to see you.
I did believe that he's here.
You can have him.
I knew that was going to come. You could have him on the Aaron Rodgers deal. Sam Goetzinger waking up with us because you worked the night shift last night.
I'm winded. I had to run in here this morning. Just barely got here in time, but I'm here.
And rocking his Colts gear. Yes. It's a big night for your franchise.
It's a huge night. It's a change of the franchise tonight.
See what happens with the Indianapolis Colts. They have an early pick. And this is fantastic because we've got Scott Engen and Drew Trafton next to one another, and each representing their favorite. This is almost like we planned this because this was the famous trade last year. One is smiling. The other, you're sitting out today on the first round.
Drew, I don't like you today. You're taking my pick at number 5, and you gave us a crappy old quarterback.
Meanwhile, you're sitting pretty because you got 2 picks. The Seahawks are picking twice here in the first round. I wore my formal
hoodie for you
I like
today.
that, by the way. That is a sharp there.
So I decided to break out the little Super Bowl 50 logo warm-up.
Before we get into the picks, and for those that have not watched or done our show on this, we have traditionally done this every year, going back to the first year we did the show, and it's been a ton of fun, and I'm excited we're going to do this again. For each of you, and you guys can, I'll go around the room. Scott told me off air that you've done 25 to 30 mock drafts already. So when did the draft become a thing for you? Like, this is a yearly, like, I'm excited for it.
The first year I started watching the draft and being excited about it was, unfortunately, the first year the Broncos took Garrett Bowles in the first round. And so the draft is always a fun time. I was hyped up for that draft. It was a lot of fun. They took Bowles, who struggled this first few years, but it's turned out to be all right. But I love the draft every year, the speculation, the potential scenarios. I've done at least 25 to 30 conservatively mock drafts coming up to this moment. and I'm sure none of them will be correct as to what actually happened tonight.
The dedication is impressive considering, like I said, the Broncos don't have a pick. It'd be one thing if you actually had the pick that you gave up, but the fact that you're that dedicated, I appreciate that. Yeah. Well, but I know you are a draft rube. When did it start? Yeah. Like, what was the first draft you remember you paid attention to?
Probably sometime when I was in college. I don't even remember. I just like, and even before then, just the pageantry of the NFL draft is so much fun. Seeing these guys show up, fulfill this lifelong dream. But like, I just remember, like Radio City, just the boos echoing and everything. Like, just that it's a lot of fun. Like it's like you said, it's become this thing that I think has replaced baseball. Opening day is kind of like the sports moment in the calendar where it's just like hope springs eternal. And it's like, if we get this right and we get this one thing right, then my team can win the Super Bowl sort of thing. And, you just don't know what it sets up. I'm looking at some of each of your favorite teams of the worst first-round draft picks, which we can go around the room here after we go through everything. Both of them for Denver and Seattle's a couple of doozies that I forgot. What about you? What is the earliest draft memory you have?
Earliest draft memory? Well, I can tell you I haven't done 30 mock drafts. That's for sure. I can tell you about who the Colts should pick, and that's about where the extent is. Because it seems like the Colts, they either have the number 1 overall pick or they have a plethora of second rounders, and from there it's kind of falls off. But I started pretty young, and again, just kind of followed along, see where everything's going. But I'm interested to see how this year's going to go. I like the experiences, like when Andrew Luck and that RG3 thing was going around. That was a big time for me because you never know where it was going to go. Didn't know if they would go RG3 or Andrew Luck, and I'm glad they went with Andrew Luck for the little bit that we had him. But I'd say that was the big draft for me. Yeah, just kind of follow along here and there, and but I have not done 30 mock drafts. So we'll see how this one goes.
What about you, big man? What's the earliest draft memories you have?
I would say when the Packers took Kenny Clark, whatever year that was, and then I kind of I would occasionally watch. I would watch it here and there, but then Jair Alexander is when I really started paying attention to when the Packers took off and started really watching the draft and really participating in the mocks.
Okay. I would tell you that with my favorite team, it has always been a deal because the Jets typically always are picking in the top 7 or 8, and traditionally would turn into who, what, really? Like the guy I grew up watching at quarterback was Ken O'Brien at quarterback, and then I find out when I moved to Fargo, he actually played in Fargo at UC Davis. He was a quarterback of Division II, and Davis was a Division II team, much like the Bison, and played at Dakota Field. And then after that, I can remember there was numerous bad pick after bad pick after bad pick in the first round when the Jets actually drafted 2 tight ends in the first round one year. Johnny Mitchell and Kyle Brady in the 90s. Wow. They went with that. Warren Sapp is sitting there. I will send you the link that ESPN literally put this together. This is about maybe like 10 years ago of the Jets' first-round flops because they always had it at Radio City Music Hall in New York, and the fans are there literally on the edge of their seat. Warren Sapp is sitting there in the green room, and they took a tight end. And everyone, all the fans are like, what? Who? What? So this night has always been interesting to me. I will say I'm not used to the Jets picking as low as they are, and considering after the trade with Aaron Rodgers, now they're even a couple spots lower. So that is a little background with everybody. It's a much different draft than last year because last year we knew it wasn't a quarterback heavy draft. Only one went in the first round. That is the opposite here tonight. That we could have as many as 5 go in the first round here tonight. That's the intriguing part. Yeah, exciting part too.
The question is, do you think Hendon Hooker is a first-round quarterback?
Right.
Because it seems like the other 4 are almost for sure going. This morning, though, I saw some drafts that had Anthony Richardson slipping down into the 20s. And so it's like, okay, so if that happens, would the Vikings, a team like the Vikings, where they might be interested in a quarterback if the premium on the position is still there. I mean, do they look to move up a couple picks just to make sure that they get their guy?
That's the intriguing part. Don't know about what Hendon Hooker or Anthony Richardson is is going to happen. Now, for your team, everything has been really intriguing over the last couple of days because the attention now is gone on Will Levis because could he be the number one guy to go in potentially, we were talking about this yesterday on the show, some Reddit thread now has got him as the number one pick in the draft.
Yeah, someone was saying that, and I'm sure you guys have touched on it, someone was saying that Will Levis was telling his friends that he was going to go to Carolina number one. I personally don't see it. I think out of all the quarterbacks in the draft, those high-ranked quarterbacks, I feel like he could be the one that falls. But
that's a 30 for 30. If that turns out to be true, like, that has to be a 30 for 30. Like, would you believe that a Reddit thread could tell us
which is some random person online, and you're just going to follow that? But I don't know.
All right, I want to do a little trivia here before we get into this, and this will test each of your fandoms, and I'm sure you guys will all ace it. For each of your favorite teams, when was the last time you guys took a quarterback in the first round? You could start, Scott. Broncos, last time they took a quarterback in the first round.
Was it Paxton Lynch?
I think
that hurts. That hurts so much. He couldn't even play in the XFL.
That's right. That's right. He washed out of the XFL.
Tough.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes, booze.
I'm going to double check on that one. First round picks at quarterbacks. All right, Drew, you got next with the Seahawks.
I believe it was in 91. Was it Dan McGuire?
That is not the most recent one.
Was it Freeze?
It was You're in the right ballpark. It's a couple years later than Dan McGuire.
A couple years later, so it was like 93.
I remember watching this guy. Yep, it was the 93 draft because it went 1-2 that year.
It wasn't McGuire, was it?
I'll give you a hint. It was Notre Dame. That's the school he played at. It went Drew Bledsoe and Rick Meyer.
Oh. Man, that was a bad couple of years. Holy cow.
Yours is easy.
Well, I was to say it's Andrew Luck.
Yeah, yours is easy
because Ellinger went like the 7th round, and I don't think they've drafted anybody since. So
how about the fact that he's played as many games in the NFL?
Yeah, right.
Ellinger, I didn't think that would happen.
My dad's a huge fan of his. Huge fan.
Really, he's on the Sam Ellinger
he was
train?
a huge fan of Jacob Eason too when he was around. So look how well that turned out.
All right, buddy boy. When's the last time the Packers took a first rounder?
Jordan Love.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
He's the next Hall of Famer that's going to cause Viking fans headaches.
Wow.
It's a bold statement.
You are.
That's bold.
You are something else here. I will tell you this. The Jets have the distinction of being the only franchise taking a quarterback with the 3rd overall pick and then followed up with the 2nd overall pick in a 3-year span. So we did that with Sam Darnold and then Zach Wilson. How's that working out? Sam Darnold is going to be probably Brock Purdy's number 1 backup in San Francisco this year. And Zach Wilson is wandering in the wilderness of New Jersey. So worked out well. So we're going to break here just when we go through the format for everybody when we come back. Each of us are going to make a pick. We're going to kind of snake through the draft and give us our analysis of what we're doing. So the 4th annual Hot Mic Mock Draft will begin when we come back on WDAY Extra and Inforum.com.
This is the man, the myth, the legend.
Meet the pros behind the pros. Tommy D'Addario's trainer has a workout and a chicken parm that'll do a body good.
Check this out.
Then get a glow up with Xana Roberts-Rossi's makeup artist.
I think lip liner is huge. Everyone's wearing it. Everyone should wear it.
And it's Mine Over Mally with her motivational coach. Plus,
make your own takeout.
Mixed Rachel.
Weekdays at 3 on WDAY WDAZ.
Plains Art Museum invites you to open your mind and embrace the unknown at our annual Spring Gala Wonderland. Join us on Saturday, May 6th for an evening of wonderment and delight, including an art auction featuring more than 100 local, regional, and national artists. Music by Mae Simpson and Star 4. Hors d'oeuvres by Chef's Table and Urban Foods Catering. Delicious desserts from Nicole's Fine Pastry and Cafe. And a wine tasting with Happy Harry's Bottle Shops. Tickets are available now at plainsart.org.
You took my father. Somebody's going to pay for this.
There's no story more surprising than a real-life Dateline mystery.
Probably a pretty ugly crime scene.
Follow every twist and turn 5 times a week.
The chase is on.
With Dateline.
Weekdays at 1 p.m.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage.
A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in North Dakota. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the NDHSAA.
News happens at all hours of the day and night.
Stories develop and situations change in the blink of an eye.
In our community, knowing where you can turn at any time of the day
for clear information and facts
is more important today than at any other time.
That's why we start our day
in the middle of the night
to gather new information
and be ready to bring it to you.
Tracking what has changed overnight and how that will impact your day today.
We're here for you with the most up-to-date news and weather
to get you on your way,
because your community
is our community.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 in the morning, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. He asked all his therapists to help him undertake some of the house chores. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey.
To learn more, please visit eifcares.org.
Hi, I'm Mark Knutson from the Essentia Health Fargo Marathon. So you say you're not a runner? That's not a problem. You can still be part of the Fargo Marathon, and I am personally inviting all of you to jump in. You love to ride bike? Then it's the Cyclothon bike ride for you. If you got a dog, get him or her registered for the Fargo Dog Runs. They get into the dome, get their own dog finisher medal. The Fargo Marathon has something for everyone. Check it out today and register at fargomarathon.com. That's fargomarathon.com.
I'm a firefighter, and I will always be a firefighter.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to the 4th annual Hot Mic Mock Draft. Here with our WDAY draft rubes. Just going through the list of your favorite teams here, of looking at the past first-round draft picks. Just quick before we get going here. Drew Trafton with your Seattle Seahawks. I look here. For 3 years running, you did not have a first-round pick.
Yeah, we're not big on those.
13, 14, and 15. 2016, I don't even, Jermaine Ifedi, I don't even remember him.
Jermaine Ifedi, yeah. He's now, well, I thought he played for the Jets for like a year.
So I don't know of. 17, no first-round pick. Yep. Then it was Rashad Penny. That worked out.
Well,
right?
A little bit. Yeah, I mean, like he never had a full healthy season. Great player.
Yeah.
But just then doesn't have the
LJ Collier.
Injury.
That didn't work. Jordan Brooks in 2020.
He's been okay. He's coming off of an ACL though. And so he's gonna miss part of this season. But
and then no pick in 21. And then I will make, for people that don't know this, last year here in the mock draft, I'm going to tell you guys, Drew picked for the Seahawks and got it exactly right. He said Charles Cross in the mock draft, and that's exactly how they did. How was his season?
Excellent. Yeah, he really panned out. They also took a right tackle a couple of rounds later in Abe Lucas, and he's panned out really well. They had a great draft last year, and I'm glad that they listened to me. That's all I'll say.
Scott Engen for your Broncos. You were right, by the way. Paxton Lynch, 2016, was the last first-round QB. Since then, Garrett Bowles, Bradley Chubb, Noah Fant, great Seahawk, Jerry Jeudy, Patrick Surtain. That's not bad. I mean, I look at that on the whole. I'm like, that's not bad.
Got the Surtain jersey on today.
I like Surtain. I like Jeudy.
Yeah,
he was on my fantasy team last year.
The thing with Jeudy is he hasn't really had the full chance to flourish just yet.
Because they haven't had a guy to throw the ball.
No, and he's been hurt. So I think this is the year you see him catch 90 balls or something like that.
Now, for Sam's Colts, they've traded away picks like nobody's business.
They don't matter. They don't matter to them. That's why watching the draft is so interesting, because I never know if I have a dog in the fight or not.
You had Ryan Kelly in 2016. That worked out.
Yeah,
He was pretty good. Malik Hooker in 17. Yeah. Quentin Nelson. That one worked out. Really good. 2018. Yep. No pick in 19 or 20. Kwity Paye, where's the jury on that for him in 20? He was in 21.
He's okay. I would say he's still developing, but it's a pretty solid defense, give or take a couple of moments here and there. But I think he could be a pretty good fit in there.
And then no pick last year because that went to Philadelphia for Carson Wentz. So
you got to look at the second rounders if you're going to do the Colts draft history.
We're only worried about the first round.
I know.
All right, buddy boy. You had Jair Alexander, you mentioned. That worked out.
Home run.
Rashawn Gary?
Yeah, I really like that one. Tore his ACL last year, but was primed to have a big year.
Darnell Savage?
Not so much.
Okay.
It's time for him to
move on. Jordan Love, we don't know.
I think he's going to be, like I said, I think he's going to be good.
Eric Stokes was 21.
Injured a little bit last year's rookie year, I believe. I don't know if the defense played him right. I think he's due for a big bounce back year.
Then last year, I think they had a home run. Quay Walker and Devontae Wyatt, they both the Georgia dudes.
Quay Walker, I don't know about that one.
No?
He's got to have some.
All right.
He's got to check himself at the door. You can't be hitting trainers on the field.
Well, yeah. And you can't be losing to the Lions at Lambeau Field either in the last game of the season.
That's all because of your quarterback now.
Right. That's all. Yeah, that's all Aaron Rodgers' fault. Okay. So we will begin the draft. Like I mentioned, we're going to go around the room. Everybody's going to have varying picks. I think each of you guys will have 6 picks. I have 7 because it's my show. So you can complain to the producer about that. He's sitting right over there. And
I didn't make this pick. Dom did. If I would have made it, I would have gave us all 7 picks and Dom like 3.
That's probably good.
I'd like to point out, Dom, you gave yourself the first pick in the draft.
The only slam dunk.
What do you want me to do, man?
Come on. The only pick we might get right this entire time.
Said by the guy who got his pick right last year. So here we go. With the first pick in the 2023 Hot Mike mock draft, the Carolina Panthers, who traded with the Chicago Bears to move up to the #1 spot, they will select Bryce Young, the quarterback from Alabama. I think that's probably as much a slam dunk as Drew is joking about. They have Frank Reich now as the head coach. I mean, this is the guy. I mean, he stopped taking visits a couple weeks ago. It all appears that he's going to be the guy to go #1. And in a division that looks really winnable now with Brady gone. We don't know what the Saints are. Not quite sure what we got with Atlanta, which we'll get to them in a little bit. Carolina's, I mean, they won games with Sam Darnold at the end of last year, so it could. We'll see what their offense. I don't know. I don't know on this.
They're a team that's ready for a quarterback, and they've been ready for a couple of years now. But I mean, he got a 98 on his S2.
Yeah,
like that's bordering on like precognition, like in terms of reading plays.
He's all right.
Good.
All right, so there goes Bryce Young with the first pick. All right, Mr. Bunnell, you are up second with the Houston Texans and their selection, if they are going to pick second.
Well, I think that they're going to trade back. But if Houston stays put, they need a lot of help everywhere. Houston needs everything. But I have the Houston Texans selecting Will Anderson Jr., outside linebacker, Alabama.
And he is the top defensive dude. That would be, by the way, something else if Alabama gets 1-2 guys in the draft. You watch some of his plays here. I mean, he's a disruptor up there. And DeMeco Ryans, he's a defensive guy, new head coach of the Texans. I think you're right. They're taking defense. I don't know if it's this guy or if it's somebody else here.
It's either Will Anderson Jr. or Tyree Wilson out of Texas Tech.
The guy
I thought they would take quarterback because I don't think Davis Mills is their guy. But every report that I've read, C.J. Stroud, same agent as Deshaun Watson. So I think that plays a factor of Deshaun. Like, that agent's not going to send somebody back to the Texans after what happened.
All right, so there we go. We got 2 Alabama guys. All right, Scott Engen, you have the Arizona Cardinals, who are desperately trying to get out of the 3 spot. You are picking for them here at number 3.
I could certainly see them trading back here as well. I think they're the #1 team as a trade back candidate.
New head coach here, Jonathan Gannon, defensive coordinator from Philly.
But in this case, obviously, they're not trading back. They're going to go defensive line or offensive line.
Okay.
Let's make it interesting today. Paris Johnson Jr. Let's protect Kyler Murray when he comes back.
All right. Big Ohio State offensive lineman who's I'm looking at the latest mock here from Mel Kiper has him at 9 to the Bears, so maybe you're not. That's a little maybe higher than what he has, but Arizona's bad. Arizona offensively has, I mean, you see them up close as a Seahawks fan. I mean, they've fallen off the face of the earth here from a team that, remember, what were they were? Like 9-2, 10-2, the middle part of last year. They lost the rest of the games, lost the playoff game, and then they were awful last year.
Yeah, I like that pick because I'm not sure. I know we all know that Arizona wants to trade out, and they very well could, but that's not a bad value pick. Like, I think a lot of these teams are going to be focused on, best player available need. He kind of checks both of those boxes.
I really can't believe C.J. Stroud would not be available still here. This is 3 picks in. All right, buddy boy, you get to pick your own team. The Indianapolis Colts are up 4th.
Yep. So
after
with the 4th pick,
a dreadful year, what do you got?
4th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft. I'm gonna go with my gut, Anthony Richardson.
Ooh,
yes, that's the one I want.
Wow.
Drew and I were talking, and we were all talking off air. You could see all of these top 4 in Young, Stroud, Levis, and Richardson. All of them could pan out. All of them could bust. It seems like who knows what it's going to be. But what can Will Levis bring to the table that Gardner Minshew, Nick Foles, and Sam Ellinger don't have, At least Anthony
Richardson.
There,
done that, you're saying?
Exactly.
Okay.
When we're in a changing league where maybe a dual-threat quarterback with a cannon of an arm is something the Colts have never had, and I'm a dual-threat quarterback. I'm not counting Jacoby Brissett on his 3rd and 2 scrambles to try to get the first down. We've never had that multiple threats coming out of the backfield, so I think that would be one of the best plays.
That's intriguing. You're watching his highlight reel now. I mean, it is filled with highlight plays, and he is Drew and I have been talking about this for the last month on the show about where this guy could potentially go. That's one of the real storylines of tonight. So, all right, Anthony Richardson off the board here to the Colts at 4. All right, buddy boy, your Seahawks. They signed Geno Smith. They gave him monster money, so they've got 2 picks here. What are we doing there?
Yeah, well, boy, if you had told me that C.J. Stroud, Will Levis would be on the board, I'd be saying, like, the phone's ringing off the hook somewhere, and I'm sure they're going to be taking some trade offers.
Taking a call,
I think that'd be good. However, the difference I saw at the end of last season with the Seahawks and the other teams was not at the quarterback position. They were doing just fine there, and if you would have told me a year ago that they wouldn't be using this pick
on a QB,
for a QB,
no way.
Boy, I like you knocked me over with a feather. The difference I saw, though, was on defense. They were beating the 49ers in that wild card game at halftime. They were down by 7 only going into the 4th quarter of that game. Pete Carroll, John Schneider, the general manager, head coach, have said the difference was in the trenches. I am running up to the podium to select Jalen Carter from Georgia with this pick.
That's the real intriguing pick, along with Richardson. By the way, the SEC here with 4 of the first 5, which is no surprise, with the off-the-field incidents that have happened with Carter since the national championship game, involved in the drag racing incident that killed a teammate and a staff member of the Georgia staff that pled guilty to a misdemeanor. The NFL, the pro day debacle that he had, that he couldn't even finish some of his workouts. He literally left the combine to be arraigned for what happened the night after the championship. His agent is the powerhouse and Drew Rosenhaus, who has firmly maintained that he's not falling out of the top 10. I think this is probably, honestly, I think you might get 2 for 2. Yeah, I think this is where he's going.
This is his ceiling, too. I think this is the earliest he'd come off the board.
I think you're right. Yep.
He just makes too much sense for the Seahawks to pass up on. He solves so many of their issues on defense that it just if he's there, even if you've got that blue chip quarterback there, which I still think is on the board, he can't. Yeah. He just can't pass him up.
All right, so that was the Seahawks pick by virtue of the Russell Wilson trade. Drew's picking again here at 6 with the Lions. Detroit, by the way, which narrowly missed out on the postseason, has this pick because of the Matt Stafford trade. The Rams do not have a first-round pick. Detroit is everybody's pick right now in the NFC North to maybe take it over.
Well, and, arguably, I think they might have been the 3rd best team in the NFC at the end of last
year. Boy, they were humming.
Season.
They were really good.
So good. And I look at their needs, right? I mean, you've got they probably need a cornerback. They need a tackle. They need a quarterback potentially. And if the draft were to fall like this, I'm going to make, I was leaning heavy on Devin Witherspoon here. But if the draft falls like this, How do you not pick C.J. Stroud?
Yeah,
so I'm going to pick this. I'm going to pick C.J. Stroud for the Lions because I think Dan Campbell's a long-term coach. Jared Goff is not a long-term solution at quarterback there just because of how expensive he is. And he's got a mentorship program laid out if this is the case. And I think CJ makes a lot of sense here.
So Stroud Levis is slipping.
Yeah. It's the opposite of what's actually happening in reality. I watched Stroud in both the semifinal and the national championship game. He's fantastic.
He is.
I don't care what anything says on the C2 score, the S2 score, whatever it's called. He can throw. That's what you need. I mean, look at these highlights where he's zipping the ball. This is the guy, if it ends up being Detroit, if it ends up being whoever that will maybe come up and get this will be stunning to me if he falls. And I know Ohio State quarterbacks have not panned out in the NFL, but look at the guys he's throwing to, by the way.
Exactly.
You got better wide receivers there than some NFL teams do.
The other thing that Detroit has to consider here, if the draft were to fall this way, is they've got another pick in this draft.
Yeah. Right.
You know, in this round.
First round.
They can do some damage elsewhere. They can fill their other needs. If one of those quarterbacks falls like that,
holy cow!
Boy, yeah.
All right, Sam, you are picking for the Las Vegas Raiders, who signed Jimmy Garoppolo in the offseason to theoretically address some sort of quarterback issue there. Yeah. But the Raiders had a ton of issues last year. What do you think on 7? Here?
Yeah, so at number 7, I don't think they need anything offensively. It looks like they're pretty set on that end. But I'll go with Devin Witherspoon out of Illinois. I think he's one of the better cornerbacks in this draft. I know there's a couple of guys that are up there that could be in the top 10, but you look at the secondary for the Raiders, never heard of any of these guys. so maybe somebody that can jump in there and make an impact right away. And there's a reason why Illinois had a good year, and it's good defense, and he was a part of that. So I think he'd be a good fit there.
He can lock down one side of the field. You watch him. I've got to see a couple of his games in the Big Ten last year. I'm not a great Illinois football mind. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I am
these days.
But, I mean, you look at what he can do on the I mean, they are where they are. They got Bielema there. He makes plays, and for a Raiders defense that was not good last year, I would honestly that would stun me because I know. Josh McDaniels loves anything offensive, so I think they're going to somehow go with offense.
It just doesn't. They just don't need anything really. They got a great wide receiver, good 2-3 after him. Garoppolo, if he pans out, Josh Jacobs isn't that bad. Austin Hooper at tight end experience.
All right, Scott, you are up next here. We'll get a couple more picks in before we take our next break. You're at 8th with the Atlanta Falcons, who have already pledged to Desmond Ridder, who they took last year in the 3rd round from Cincinnati after the Mariota experiment didn't work out. Atlanta's odd. I don't know what's going on with them.
You don't know what they're going to do. I will put a note. I think this is C.J. Stroud's floor. If he got to 8, I think they might take a chance.
Boy, I tend to agree with that.
They're going to go with Ridder. You could give him help with Bijan, but running backs, they don't go in the first that often. We'll see what happens there. I'm going to go defense with the potential best pass rusher in the draft in Tyree Wilson.
Ooh, this is an intriguing name that seems to be blowing up, not so much like Trayvon Walker did last year on draft day when he became the #1 overall pick, but there's a lot of smoke on this guy. Not necessarily at a defensive school at Texas Tech that's not known for its defense, but you watch a little bit of his highlight reel here. I mean, this guy he can fly.
He's got the physical makeup you are looking for in a defensive edge rusher, and that's why I think he's an easy top 10.
All right, so let me just we should get the siren out here, Eric, for Scott, because Mel Kiper on his mock this morning has Tyree Wilson going to the Atlanta Falcons with the 8th pick. So you are in, maybe all these mocks have finally have worked out here.
Mock mania.
All right, Bunnell, you do the Bears, and we'll go to break. I love this. You're picking a division rival of your favorite team. What about Chicago? What are we doing here?
I mean, if I'm them, they got 2 slam dunk picks here. I don't think they can go wrong either way with Bijan Robinson. But I feel like the fan base is going to get super upset if they don't take this guy. So they're going to take Peter Skoronski, offensive tackle.
Dude.
Northwestern.
Boy, that seems high for him, no?
I don't think it's high.
Okay.
I mean, it might be a little stretch for him, but they need all the offensive line help that they can get.
By the way, I laugh at this when I watch the ESPN melt of highlights they put together for offensive linemen is him celebrating a touchdown. It's my favorite part. No one ever shoots the offensive lineman when you're getting video here. They got a little bit. But he is a monster. He had a great combine. This is, honestly, I was really hoping he would fall to the Jets at 15, but no chance. Eric, really? You don't think that's going to happen at all in reality? There's no chance he gets that far?
I think he is a top 10 pick.
Wow.
And the lowest he'll
right.
go would probably be Green Bay at 13.
Son of a... Can we give Rodgers back? He'll take it. We need help up front there.
You can have him.
All right, so there he goes. Peter Skorodski from Northwestern to the Bears. All right, we're due for a bottom-of-the-hour break. We're 9 picks in our mock draft. We got the Eagles, the Titans, the Packers, the Jets coming up as we roll on our 4th annual Hot Mic Mock Draft is back after this.
Doing what you can to survive is certainly a sign of the times. But there's other signs that aren't so easy to see. If you've ever earned money for the use of your body, have been given items in exchange for sexual favors, or worked long, labor-intensive hours for little to no pay, that's a sign you may be a victim of human trafficking. If you in any way have felt exploited, experienced paycheck withholding, or been abused, in an emergency, call 911. Visit ndhttf.org to learn all the signs.
When the game ends, we're just beginning. Sports Sunday. The award-winning WDAY sports team dives into the biggest sports stories throughout the region. Get to know the athletes behind the major plays. WDAY presents the best sports show in the region. When the game ends, we're just beginning. Sports Sunday. Sunday nights at 10:35. The WDAY Storm Tracker team goes in depth every week with Weather Wednesday, brought to you by Northwest Tire. Go beyond the forecast with a special look at weather topics impacting your area. Tune in and watch every Wednesday on First News, mornings from 5 to 7, the 9 p.m. news on WDAY Extra, and WDAY News at 10 p.m. Watch Weather Wednesday every week, brought to you by Northwest Tire.
Love me tender, love me sweet, never let me go. You have made my life complete, and I love you so. Love me tender, love me dear, tell me you are mine. I'll be yours through all the years, till the end of time. Love me tender, love me true, all my dreams fulfilled. For my darling, I love you, and I always will.
Today, 1 in 5 working-age Americans has a mental health condition.
People in all types of jobs and at all levels.
And the key to helping us succeed is a supportive and inclusive workplace.
All of us have a role to play in making that happen.
So what can I do to help?
As a CEO, I can set the tone for supportive culture.
As a manager, I can offer assistance and accommodations.
As a coworker, I can listen and be a source of support to my colleagues.
As someone with a mental health condition, I can ask for what I need to perform my best.
I can offer all employees the supports they need to deliver on the job, for the team
and for the business.
What can I do?
What can I do?
What can I do?
I can remind others
that we all benefit from workplaces that promote good mental health.
Mental health-friendly workplaces are more important than ever.
And all of us have a role to play in promoting them.
Learn more at whatcanyoudocampaign.org.
Here on WDAY Extra, Inforum.com, 4th annual Hot Mic Mock Draft. Our WDAY brethren here in studio, Scott Engen from First News, Drew Trafton, our WDAY assistant news director, Sam Goetzinger from I call you from WDAY Sports. Nelson's going to get mad at me, but you're in the sports spot, man. You do it.
Thank you.
I want to shout out, by the way. I had a couple people mention me, and I haven't had you on the show. You did an awesome job on the hockey play-by-play this year,
thank
man.
you.
You did a great job.
That was a lot of fun. That was a lot
I got
of fun.
to call a double overtime game winner in the state championship.
Yeah,
That's
triple
pretty triple
overtime.
overtime.
Yeah.
It's pretty good
That was
stuff,
good
man.
time. That was good
And
time.
Our producer of every show here on Hot Mic, Eric Bunnell, still actually working. Are you doing stuff for the show as we're doing this too?
Oh yeah, I got my
MVP
computer
here.
just off to the side. I'm writing down all the picks and making graphics for the show. I know I got to update it for the guys in the back, so it's coming.
He's doing everything. Okay, we are 9 picks in. So far, we've had 3 quarterbacks taken. Bryce Young went 1 to Carolina. Anthony Richardson 4th to the Colts. And then C.J. Stroud went 6th to the Lions. I am up next year as the 10th overall selection. The Philadelphia Eagles have this pick after going all the way to the Super Bowl. And then this pick lands in their lap. And we were talking about this off air. I think this is a heck of a pick here. I'm going Bijan Robinson here, running back out of Texas. I think this. I understand that they made it to the Super Bowl with, Kenneth Gainwell, Boston Scott. I mean, they did it with a variety of this guy. You add him to this lineup of what they have on offense.
Yeah, scary.
There's no way Howie Roseman's going to pass this by. I think they're putting him in the mix and go. And I look on the mock here that Mel Kiper put out. He's got Bijan going 10th. He goes, the Eagles might prefer to trade back, but why not take an elite runner receiver who could help them win now? It might go against the organization's philosophy to take a running back this high, but the fit is logical, whether it's at number 10 or a few spots later, because, again, they have another pick. If it's not Robinson, I thought about tackle guard Peter Skoronski, who just went off the board. Eric had him going to the Bears. So I'm going Bijan Robinson there. And since I have the next pick with the Titans, and we were just joking about this, the Titans are one of the really intriguing teams in this entire draft because we know they haven't really made any long-term deal with Ryan Tannehill. They completely flamed out at the end of last season. This is a team that was not that far removed from being tops of the AFC South and really good. I know they drafted Malik Willis a couple years ago, but if Will Levis is sitting here for me at 11, I'm going Will Levis here, the quarterback from Kentucky with the 11th overall pick.
You have to.
For the Tennessee Titans. I think that makes a ton of sense. And now here's the thing.
Does that get to be a crowded room?
Well, I don't think Tannehill's there long term.
Well,
I think that's it. I think they saw what Malik Willis can do. I mean, I don't know if there was anything there that was like, wow, like we have to commit to this guy.
Yeah, at the beginning of his career, they thought that, but I think it tapered
More
off,
and more teams now are cutting bait with high drafted quarterbacks. Here's the caveat on this, because Drew and I talked about it on the show yesterday. The Titans could also be in the market for Trey Lance. Now, that would not surprise me either. The new general manager of the Titans was the assistant GM in San Francisco. He was all in on Trey for the 49ers to get him. Let's see if the Titans made a monster draft day deal last year with A.J. Brown going to Philly. It wouldn't surprise me if they make a move there. If they don't, I got Will Levis going off the board from Kentucky to the Titans with the 11th overall pick. All right, Drew, you're back up here with 12 with the Texans, who are back on the clock here with their second pick of the first round.
Yeah, and just to kind of echo what Eric said earlier, they need everything, and I'm not a great Houston Texans mind.
Earlier, they selected Will Anderson, by the way, with the second overall pick, so they addressed defense earlier on.
Yeah, so but I think you keep building there, and I think another position that's of high value in the first round when you're picking to build a team would be cornerback. And so I'm going to take Christian Gonzalez off the board from Oregon.
Yep.
Yeah, I think, it might be a little rich for him to go here, but if Houston can't move off this pick, it's a building block.
I will say this, by the way. Kiper has him going tonight 7th to the Raiders, so maybe it's not as high as you think or outrageous as you think on that. Witherspoon and Gonzalez are the top two corners. The 6'1" Gonzalez has elite traits and length, according to Mel Kiper. So that's bang, bang on deep. You know what? It wouldn't surprise me. With D'Amico Ryans, defensive guy, you know what? If you're going to build up, and then, because the thought out there is if you don't take quarterback, then you've got next year, and Caleb Williams is sitting out there from USC, and maybe he's the number one guy that you go and do that
also,
next
if you were
year.
to take a huge offensive weapon,
right?
It's like, what's the, like it almost seems like you're putting that person in a position where they're not going to have success right away, and it's like you're kind of wasting that contract there. So that's kind of why I go defense.
All right, does the draft really begin now for you as the 13th overall pick? This was with the Jets until 2 days ago. It was traded to the Packers. So Green Bay is up next here at 13 here, buddy boy.
So
what are you doing?
I actually can see where the Packers are trading up to number 8 to get this guy. Like, I think they're
really.
I think they could trade with Atlanta because Atlanta's like could be a team that's willing to trade back, and Green Bay does have the draft capital to do that now. But if I'm Green Bay, I got 3 options. You got Dalton Kincaid, sorry, 2, or Jackson Smith and
Njigba is how you pronounce it.
I would have butchered it. So, but I'm taking Jackson Smith from Ohio State. To pair him with Christian Watson. That would be an elite duo in the NFL. And all on rookie contracts, you need to get people with Jordan Love.
This would be hilarious, by the way, if Aaron Rodgers was still there to have another weapon.
It would be the first round wide receiver since 2002.
The day
Javon
after
Walker.
Yeah, I was going to say.
They trade him away. They draft a wide receiver in the first round. That's almost too poetic.
I love this guy. He was banged up most of last season. Smith and Jigma is just a dynamic receiver. Watching him in the Rose Bowl a couple years ago. What did he set the record for receptions in the Rose Bowl? That year in that particular game. He's a dynamic guy. The Packers never take a first round. What? They could have done it last year when they had Aaron Rodgers. What are you doing here?
They tried to take one last year, but the team to the east of us, or the west of us, excuse me, did not want to.
Didn't want to trade.
Didn't want to give us the 32nd pick.
All right.
So, I mean, we take it with the 34th. So.
All right. Okay, so there he goes, Jackson Smith and Jigba, the wide receiver from Ohio State, to the Packers at 13. Scott Engen's going to pick the blood rival for me in the New England Patriots. If you just want to forfeit this pick, I'd be okay with that. I don't know what Belichick is doing.
Yeah, it's tough. They need a lot of players over there.
Do they need a quarterback?
I think so,
I
but
think they
I
need
don't
a
think they're going to take
too.
one.
Yeah.
I see them trading back out of this spot potentially really easily. But since
in reality tonight, you think they would happen?
They love to trade back.
They do.
I think a team.
Belichick's notorious though as a terrible drafter.
It's true.
New England's not good.
It's true. And I think there's a guy that just feels like a New England guy. I think they should take an offensive lineman here, but I think they're going to go with an edge rusher, Lucas Van Ness.
Okay,
Iowa.
big man from Iowa, Lucas Van Ness.
I like that.
He's well. I mean, that's how New England also its calling card has been defense. The Patriots are just in an odd spot of where they're at. Kuiper goes, Van Ness would fill a big need. He could play all over the defensive line. His positional flexibility is appealing, much like what Sam Goetzinger has. He has positional flexibility.
My physical ability.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. So there we go with the Patriots and Lucas Van Ness. All right. Now the draft can really begin because the New York Football Jets are now on the clock at 15. And there's 2 guys I already wanted that are gone. I wanted Paris Johnson. He's not going to make it there. Then you tell me Skoronski's not going to make it. Scott said there was no chance. So I will go. They need offensive line help. They got to protect Rodgers. Rodgers is old and brittle, apparently. And their first-round picks at offensive line, Mekhi Becton didn't work out. I really like Elijah Vera Tucker. I think he got hurt last year. He's going to be okay. They're going to go offensive line. I'm going to go Darnell Wright, offensive tackle from Tennessee, to the Jets with the 15th overall pick. I think that's what they have to do, offensive line. It's either offensive line or defensive line, and I think they're doing O-line there.
Do you like Wright better than Broderick Jones?
At this moment, yes.
Okay.
But I think it's a coin flip.
Sure.
Honest. And if it came to that, I'd be okay, either one way or the other. On that. Becton, I just wish could stay on the field. He's a mountain of a man, but he can't stay on the field in his 3 years there. All right, Sam, you're up with the Washington Commanders.
Yeah, hard team to
Don't
draft
let
for.
Logan down.
Yeah,
Well,
this is Logan Campbell's team.
I've asked Logan for her opinion, and I respectfully am going to shut it down.
Who did she have, before you pick, who did she have them taking?
Well, initially it was Garrett Mogg out of the University of North Dakota, and then it went to Emmanuel Forbes, which makes sense, is a big cornerback draft.
Yep.
But looking at the depth chart for Washington, I think
if you want to do that.
Yeah, especially with Sam Howell right now as their QB1.
Is they really doing that?
I don't know. I
think they're going to try it.
Gosh, might as well.
Wow.
You took a chance on them. Might as well see if it works out. But maybe they'll do something later on, and maybe there's a quarterback later on.
Well, it's not like it was a first-round pick they spent on Sam Howell. It's not like a second-round guy either, you know? I don't get
who knows?
that.
But I'm going to go with the offensive lineman and Broderick Jones.
Okay,
so
there we go.
So that's where he's going to go. They got an old group of tackles that I think could use some help.
All right, so Broderick Jones, offensive tackle from Georgia, that for that team that was just beastly, that won a second straight national championship for Kirby Smart. So 2 offensive linemen going back to back. All right, Scott, you're up here with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Where are we going to go here?
I think the Steelers have loved the way this draft has played out.
Right?
I think they need a corner and they need an offensive lineman, particularly tackle. And because Broderick Jones went there, I'm going to go Joey Porter Jr., the Steel City legend.
Wow.
His dad, Joey Porter, of course. They need a corner. Makes too much sense.
God, if that actually ends up happening, what kind of symmetry would that be? Cornerback from Penn State. That's a spot. Honestly, I was hoping that if the Vikings had a chance to take it, because the Vikings always take cornerbacks in the first round, that would have been there for Minnesota. That's a smart pick, though. Steelers are intrigued. I mean, I can't imagine them to be bad for 2 years in a row. That's not how it works for Pittsburgh there.
Feels like a Pittsburgh Steeler.
I agree.
Too, just, obviously, like with his dad. But I mean, that would be what a story that would.
Yeah, that would be pretty
Absolutely.
cool. All right. We could do one more pick here before we're due for a break. 18th is the Detroit Lions. And earlier in this draft, Drew had C.J. Stroud going there. And if we're going to keep that connection going, they played against one another the first game of this past season. I'm going to select Michael Mayer, the tight end from Notre Dame. They traded T.J. Hawkinson. Why not go and get this guy from Notre Dame with the 18th overall pick? I love what they're doing offensively. They're going to be without Jamison Williams for the first 6 games of the season after the gambling suspension that went down. He can come in. You looking at his highlight reel now. I mean, look, he can.
He's a receiver.
Exactly. Exactly what Hawkinson was that they traded away to the Vikings. I think this makes a lot of sense for the Lions at this spot. With Detroit offensively, looks like they have finally maybe put it together. And with Jared Goff at quarterback, too, that could be the spot there. So I got Michael Mayer coming off the board with the 18th overall pick to the Detroit Lions. So we're due for a break. We'll take one now. We're going to take a little breath here. We'll recap things. In hour 2, we'll finish up. We're motoring here on this Hot Mic mock draft special. Back after this.
The Dragons Digital Network is here to bring you live coverage of all MSUM Dragons home events everywhere you want to watch. DDN combines all streaming options of the MSUM Dragons, NSIC Network, WDAY, and in Forum. All the games, all live on social media, smart TV apps, mobile apps, websites, and more. So however you like to watch, the Dragons are there on the Dragons Digital Network.
On the next Tamron Hall.
He's the owner of one of the largest media empires in the world, and he started it all at his dining room table with just a phone and determination. Media powerhouse Byron Allen joins the Tam Fam. How Byron is building his billion-dollar brand. Just wait until you hear what he has planned next. Then from Zoom to In the Room. Their incredible stories inspired us during lockdown. Now we finally meet them face-to-face, and they have unbelievable updates.
Next Tamron Hall.
Weekdays at 2 p.m. on WDAY, WDAZ.
places, people, and conditions in this world that almost seem beyond hope. But not when Mercy Ships is there. Mercy Ships is a place restoring sight to the blind, normalcy to the deformed, beauty and happiness to the outcast, and joy to the brokenhearted.
And many times you can almost see the life coming back into them. Can't beat that.
Mercy Ships is the largest floating civilian hospital in the world, staffed with some of the most skilled volunteer medical professionals and crew. Mercy Ships is the reason why hope is now in sight for those who need it most. To learn more, go to mercyships.org today.
It's been said that when someone you love has Parkinson's, you have Parkinson's. The truth is, Parkinson's disease doesn't just affect the diagnosed. It affects everyone who supports and helps care for them. Worldwide, over 10 million people are living with Parkinson's, a neurological disease that affects movement. And with so many places to search for information, it can be difficult to know where to begin. The Parkinson's Foundation has answers. Answers for everyone in the fight. We can help you understand the disease, help you find expert care, give you tips for living a better life, share the latest research, help you find local support, and there's a free helpline you can call. Find your answers and join us in the fight against Parkinson's. To learn more, please go to parkinson.org or call 1-800-4PD-INFO. The Parkinson's Foundation. Better lives together.
Parents, have you registered your child for this year's Fargo Marathon Youth Run yet? Let your children experience the excitement of starting and finishing inside the Fargo Dome, just like the big marathoners do, while encouraging a healthy, active lifestyle for them. The BNSF Railway Youth Run is either a half-mile or a 1-mile distance, so every child can do this. Best of all are the bragging rights when they bring home that finisher medal to you. Every child wins here, so please register them now at fargomarathon.com.
Don't forget, tomorrow, our live draft special from Hankinson, North Dakota. Our coverage will begin at 6:30 tomorrow night. I hear on WDAY Extra from Hankinson. Myself, Logan Campbell, a cast of thousands. That's not just talking about all the Mauk family that will be there. If you missed my story last night on WDAY News, it's available at inforum.com about the whole city of Hankinson is getting ready for what's to come. Tonight, actually, they have the exclusive draft party, maybe the best way to describe that for family and friends, that's going on tonight, because there is the outside chance that Cody Mauk could be selected at the end of the first round. And then tomorrow night is the big party. And it will be, let's just say this, they will be partying if he gets picked tonight. That will be a celebration unlike we've seen. And if he doesn't go, then tomorrow night is going to be something else to behold, which I'll say this, and then we can get back into our recap and our mock stuff here. If you have Balfour, North Dakota, a population of under 100, and Hankinson population of under 1,000, each having NFL draft picks in back-to-back years, it's a pretty huge deal for the state of North Dakota, and that's what we're going to see happen, whether it's tonight or tomorrow night. It's pretty cool stuff. Back here with our boys here in the studio, we're through 18 picks of the first round. We're going to pick up when we come back for hour two. I just was looking, because we don't know the schedules yet for that'll come out either next week or the week after. I'm sure the NFL will want to bleed this out as long as they can. Let's start here with Scott Engen's Broncos. We know, obviously, the division teams. You host the Jets this year.
Okay.
That'll be all right.
Yeah.
That game, I can circle that one already, is probably getting on some sort of television. You have the Packers at home.
Yeah.
The Vikings at home. The Browns at home. You have road games in Detroit, in Chicago, and in Miami, in Buffalo, and at Houston. That's actually a tougher schedule for a team that wasn't very good last season.
I was going to say, I don't mind that schedule. The teams I'm scared of in there are our own division.
Division teams, obviously. Yep.
I like the Jets are going to be tough, and then of course Buffalo. I don't think Denver could get much worse, so we're just going to go up. We're just going up from here.
Let's do it here. I think Drew and I have already done this, but for our own amusement. Home for the Eagles.
Yeah.
Home of the Browns, Steelers, Commanders, and the Panthers outside of the division. Those are the home games.
Yeah.
Because you have 8 home, 9 away next season.
Yeah, a lot of those feel very winnable.
At Baltimore.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I guess it depends on
what the Ravens are doing.
Yeah.
At Dallas.
That one's tough.
At the Giants.
That one's tough.
At the Bengals.
That one's tough.
At Detroit.
That one's real tough.
At the Titans.
That one, we'll see. That could be really tough as well. I mean,
what happens when you win some games? You get a harder schedule.
Yeah. I think that the Seahawks are a prime candidate this year to be a team that might actually be better than they were last year, but not have that reflect the same way in their record.
Okay.
They might not make the playoffs this year, but they're building something, and I'm excited for it.
All right, Mr. Packer fan, here you go. At the Saints.
Okay, who's the quarterback?
At Tampa. They're not good.
Who's the quarterback?
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield, probably.
At the Chiefs, you're not winning that game. At the Chargers, you're not winning that game. At the Rams, you got 2 games in LA next year.
Okay.
Those games are at home. I'm sorry. Chargers, Rams, Chiefs, Bucks, and Saints are all at Lambeau.
If we're playing the Chargers and the Rams in December, good luck. I'll take Green Bay in that, actually.
All right, here are your road games. At Atlanta.
Winnable.
At Carolina.
Winnable.
Mentioned at Denver. You're not winning that game.
It's going to be a dogfight.
At the Raiders.
A reunion with old friend Devontae Adams.
At the Giants.
Winnable.
At the Steelers. I don't know there. Yeah.
I'll say 8 and 9.
Okay.
Probably the same as this year.
All right, here, Sammy G. You got the Browns at home. We don't know how good Cleveland's going to be.
Yeah.
Steelers at home. That's going to be tough.
Yep.
Home for the Saints. The Bucks.
Yeah, okay.
Raiders and the Rams. Okay.
Yeah.
Then you go.
Doesn't sound like a good home game, huh? No.
At Atlanta. Got to go to Baltimore.
Yeah, okay.
At Carolina. At Cincinnati. At New England.
I don't know.
That thing sounds like a 6-win season to me right there.
I'm interested. How long is Gardner Minshew going to be in the chair?
Minshew mania is going to run all over Indianapolis.
How long is he going to lead it off until whoever they do pick in the fourth pick is going to take over?
I want to humor most of our viewing and listening audience, which are Viking fans, so we can all do this together. All right. Outside, obviously, the division games. Here's what the Vikes have at home: Saints. They'll win that game.
Yeah.
Right. We're all in the boat that Kirk Cousins is going to be the quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings in 2023, right?
Yeah.
I think we're all,
yeah.
I think so.
Okay. Saints at home, Bucks at home. They're not very good.
Nope.
Kansas City comes to U.S. Bank Stadium.
That'll be an L.
They're not winning that game. Chargers are coming here. Yeah.
Chargers are so inconsistent.
Yeah, I don't know in L.A.
They're consistent enough to beat the Vikings.
Yeah. 49ers are coming here. Who's the quarterback then, right? When's that game on the schedule?
Exactly. When is that game on the schedule? That determines that one.
The Vikes will go to Atlanta. You should win that game. They go to Carolina. Should win that game. We mentioned they go to Denver. They go to Vegas. They go to Cincinnati, and they go to Philly. They're not winning either one of those games, I don't think. I mean, last year they won in Buffalo, which took the greatest reception of the history of mankind with Justin Jefferson. I just don't. They're not going to live the charm life that they did last year to win 13 games. I don't see that. I don't care who they draft here tonight. They're not winning in Cincinnati and Philly. I'll say that now.
How many games do you think how many wins do you need
to win the NFC North
next year? Do you need 10?
11, I was going to say. 11 came to mind.
I guess it depends on what Detroit's schedule looks like.
Yeah. Let's humor myself here. We'll do the Jets, and then we'll resume the draft when we come back. Okay, they go to Kansas City.
Lost.
You go to Kansas City. Well, you know that game's going to be – could that be the first game of the NFL season?
No.
that Aaron Rodgers is now there?
No.
Why not?
That's not going to happen.
The Jets at the Chiefs. The Chiefs have to host. Why wouldn't that be the first game?
Yeah, but I think it's going to be one of the bigger marquee opponents.
They host the Eagles. They have the Super Bowl rematch to be the first game of the season?
I don't
Why not?
They ended the season. I don't think they'll do that. No.
Why not?
I think it could be the Jets.
Here's who they could. Well, here's who they could have. I'll get to Kansas City in a second. I think they could have the Jets.
Both those teams are going to have 6 primetime games. So that makes sense.
The Jets host the Chargers. They host the Eagles. Host the Commanders. They're going to win that game. Host the Texans and host the Falcons. I can tell you right now with Rodgers there, that game with Philly and that game with Kansas City are Sunday night or Monday night games now. One's a Thursday night game. The Jets go to Dallas. Win that game.
That could be a thing. I can see that game being on Thanksgiving.
Ooh, all right. Great. So my family's going to love the fact I can't do anything if the Jets are playing. They
go to the noon game.
They go to Denver. Go to Vegas. They play the Giants this year. I love that in the MetLife Stadium rivalry game. Then they go to Cleveland. They're winning 12 games this year. They better. After that trade. By the way,
how many wins does it take to win the AFC East this year?
13 probably, I'd say. Buffalo is not going anywhere, and Miami's going to be good too. By the way, just on Eric's point, the Chiefs have Buffalo at home, so they could do that.
Yeah.
NBC could say, well, wait a minute. We want Buffalo, Kansas City for the first game of the season. The other home games the Chiefs have Miami. I don't know. Then they have Philadelphia. They have Cincinnati there, too. They could put the Bengals there in an AFC Championship rematch. That's the first game of the season.
Burrowhead going back to Arrowhead.
Yeah. You could have Cincinnati, Buffalo, or Philly as the games to lead off the NFL season.
They like to sprinkle in that little taste of new in there, though, if they can. I feel like Aaron Rodgers in a Jets jersey, people are going to want to see it.
All right. We'll take a break. We come back. We'll resume the draft. We're through 18 picks. This year, there's only 31 because the Dolphins decided to talk to Tom Brady. We'll do that. We start hour 2 of Hot Mic right after this.
Catch Bison Softball on WDAY Extra. Watch NDSU take on the North Dakota Fighting Hawks in a doubleheader starting Saturday at noon. Bison Softball only on WDAY Extra. Send your weather-related photos or video to the WDAY Storm Tracker team. Contact weather@WDAY.com or share them with us on Facebook and Instagram. Keeping an eye on the sky. The WDAY Storm Tracker team. Join WDAY Sports for NFL draft coverage. Live from Hankinson, North Dakota. Live interviews with NFL hopefuls and much more as the community prepares for Cody Mauch's future in the NFL. Only on WDAY Extra. Friday at 6:30.
I'm Tyne Morgan, host of U.S. Farm Report. Join me right here each weekend as we explore the news and issues that matter most to agriculture. We know each year farmers and ranchers are thrown challenges, but as agriculture continues to adapt, we are right there with you. From markets to weather, we take a deep dive into what matters most to agriculture and rural America.
Saturdays at 6 a.m.
Overcoming drug addiction was difficult, but I found the path to recovery that worked for me. Treatment helped me come to terms with the issues in my life that caused me to use drugs. And I found better ways to cope. Learning I had a substance use disorder helped me realize I needed to make a change. The road to recovery is different for everyone. There were good days and bad days. But I found strength in seeking help. My friends and family made a huge difference in my recovery. I never gave up. I found my path, and I keep walking it every day. Find the path that works for you. Learn more at cdc.gov/stopoverdose.
There is a road laid out for me.
Boxes everywhere. And this is going to be Addie's room.
I am blind.
You really like it. I hope so. Yeah.
I know this road is there for me. There is
First night here, but Amy seems cool.
Waist down by the river. I am blind, but I need not see.
I got this.
I know
Okay.
if I'm really free, take me down to the river and wash me.
Do you want to meet a family with a transgender kid? Here we are. Max loves to do backflips. Max loves to play his ukulele. Max loves to just be a kid and just be himself. When I found out I was pregnant, all I really wanted was a happy, healthy, whole child. And that's what I got. I think it's really important for people to know that trans kids don't have a political agenda. They are just kids. Like any parent, we love our kids unconditionally, and we will never stop fighting for them. Stand with us. Protect our families.
Veterans, when you're struggling, soon becomes later, becomes someday, becomes when. Don't wait. Reach out.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
This is Hot Mike. Hot Mike. On the networks of WDAY. WDAY. Here's Dom Izzo.
Welcome back, everybody, on this Thursday morning, Draft Day. One of the great days on the American sports calendar for those that revel in it, those that have been thinking about this since the regular season ended for some. Others, it's an addendum to a day where you can build your roster and make it possibly even better for teams that played deep into January and into February. Fourth annual Hot Mike mock draft we're doing here on this Thursday morning. We took it in-house this year. We've always appreciated having some of our fans and favorite guests. They're still sending me some emails and tweets, which we'll get to in a second. We have Scott Engen and Drew Trafton from First News here with us, Sam Goetzinger from WDAY News and Sports, and Eric Bunnell, our executive producer of Hot Mike, here in studio making the picks. If you're just joining us, we've made 18 selections. We can go through, Kyle, if we can, the graphic here of the picks that have been made, just so we can get people up to date. And for remind everybody, Bryce Young is the number one pick, the quarterback from Alabama, going to the Carolina Panthers. Sam's Colts took Anthony Richardson, which might be the real first shocker of the draft. Quarterback from Florida with the fourth overall selection. If C.J. Stroud somehow goes 6 to the Lions, that's going to have a huge deal tonight in reality. Then we saw Bijan Robinson, Texas running back, go to the Eagles. Will Levis fall to the Titans at 11. All right, boys, you're looking at the graphic there. Anything stand out? Any other surprises that I missed so far? Don't all talk at once.
I think the biggest surprise to me is Detroit getting C.J. Stroud. Like, I don't think anyone sees that happening.
Like, it could happen, or just the fact that he would drop that far, that there's no way that's going to happen?
I just don't think he'll drop that far. I think someone would trade up and get him. If Houston doesn't take him at 2, someone's jumping to get him at 3.
Then we made 2 more picks after that. Joey Porter Jr. went 17th overall to the Steelers. And then right before we went to break, Michael Mayer, the tight end from Notre Dame, went to the Lions with the 18th overall pick. Again, to remind everybody, and Kyle has that graphic up there, the Dolphins do not have the pick. So when they get there tonight to 21, they're just going to basically skip over it because that's the pick that they lost for talking to Tom Brady when he was still under contract with the Buccaneers. Or was he under contract with the Patriots? I can't remember. They talked to him a couple of times to try to get him down to Miami. So we only have 31 picks in the first round. And Denver does not have a first-round pick. Sorry there, Scott. The Rams don't. The Dolphins obviously don't. And the 49ers don't because that was the trade with Philadelphia to get Trey Lance. So we are to the 19th overall pick in the draft. Eric Bunnell, you have that with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And what do they do here?
Oh, man, I am not a great NFC South mind. I think Dom watched more NFC South football last year.
I had to.
Tom Brady was his fantasy football quarterback. And by the way, speaking of fantasy football, before I get into the pick.
Oh, here we go.
Dom will be doing his punishment. Drew has just to set a date. also Ryan Lochnecker still needs his trophy.
Don't worry. I got everything. Everybody's all. He'll get his trophy. Don't worry.
I just had to bring that up. He mentioned that to me the other day.
I'm sure he did. Yes.
With the 19th overall pick, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Hendon Hooker, quarterback, Tennessee.
Well. All right, now here's the intriguing pick, because if there is going to be or are going to be 5 quarterbacks Drew Trafton selected in the first round, this is the guy that would be likely at the back end of them. This seems maybe a bit early, but the Bucs need everything.
I'm hearing a collection of Minnesota Vikings fans groan throughout the viewing area right now, because I think there's a scenario, very realistic scenario, where they could be in play for either, maybe one of the 4 that falls or Hendon Hooker. And but Tampa Bay does need a quarterback. Like there's no doubt about it. Like you're gonna go with Baker Mayfield. He's fine, but that's a Band-Aid. And they might want to start building towards the future, and that's the most important position on the field. Why not?
All right.
They have an established roster.
They showed
that it works.
There was video yesterday of Hooker out throwing, so he's back and moving around after he tore his ACL in November. Right after Tennessee beat Alabama, Hooker went down with an ACL tear. All right, your Seahawks are back up. Earlier in this draft, you had them go with Jalen Carter, the outstanding defensive lineman from Georgia with the 5th overall pick. Well, where are they going at number 20 here?
Yeah, so just given the run on cornerbacks that we have seen, the 3 guys that I really thought deserved to go in the first round have gone. So that takes that one off my plate. So really, I could either, shore up the trenches a little bit more, make life hard on San Francisco, in the NFC West a little bit more, or I could go with the playmaker. And, you could go tight end, wide receiver. But I'm not going to do that because there is an athletic freak on the board still with Miles Murphy.
Oh, yeah.
From Clemson.
Yeah.
And you know what? They got Draymond Jones from Denver, again, in the offseason here in free agency. But let's just dial it up to 11 on that defensive line. But Jalen Carter, Miles Murphy, Draymond Jones, that's a dream for Pete Carroll.
So you and Mel Kiper are in sync. He's got Murphy here at 20. The one he just put out this morning, he says Murphy is a complete edge defender who can hold up against the run. With Seattle taking Carter at 5, this could mean Pete Carroll has replenished his defensive line.
Yeah.
So there you go, NFL draft guru, with Miles Murphy, the defensive end from Clemson, with the 20th overall pick. All right, Mr. Goetzinger, you are picking for the Chargers at 21. Listen to this, what the Chargers have done in the first round. Since 2016, Joey Bosa, that worked out.
Not bad.
Mike Williams, not bad. Derwin James, that worked out. Jerry Tillery, Justin Herbert, that worked out. Where are we at with Kenneth Murray? That work out or no for them? Yeah. Rashawn Slater, that worked out.
Yeah.
And then last year they took Zion Johnson, the guard from Boston College, with the 17th overall pick. All right, what do you got here for us with the Chargers at 21, who had the huge playoff collapse against the Jaguars?
Right. Offensively, I think they're looking okay. A lot of experience there. I'm going to go with Deonte Banks out of Maryland.
Ooh, okay.
Another cornerback. Right. I think I've seen a lot of mock drafts where he's projected to go higher, and the Chargers need a cornerback and a little bit of help in that position. It was between him and Emmanuel Forbes, but since he's on the board, I'll go with the Big Ten cornerback.
Had a 4.35 40. And a 42-inch vertical at the combine. That's all right.
Take that any
screams.
Day. Take that any day. Sounds like Eric in high school.
That screams something there.
I wish.
Speaking of,
which one of those?
Yeah, which one? Yeah, which one was it? Was it the 40 or the vertical?
Both.
The most intriguing team, I think, for the first round is the Baltimore Ravens, who are up next. Eric, you've got this pick. We'll do that. We'll come back and do the Vikings out to commercial. So what? The Ravens don't know if Lamar Jackson is going to be there. They went inside OBJ, Odell Beckham Jr., maybe with a thought process that was going to get Lamar back. What do we have for the Ravens here at 22nd overall?
So I'm going to keep Lamar happy.
Okay.
And I'm going to probably upset a whole bunch of Viking fans. I'm going to take Jordan Addison, wide receiver, USC.
Yeah, okay, all right. That's a good pick there.
There's still some decent wideouts out there.
Addison's dynamite wide receiver. I really liked him. Of course, with Caleb Williams on the ball, why wouldn't you? So It's interesting because the Ravens took Rashad Bateman from Minnesota in the first round a couple years ago. He hasn't been able to stay on the field for Baltimore. That'd be intriguing if they go another first-round wide receiver there. Okay, we're overdue for a break. We'll come back. We'll get the Vikings pick. We got Minnesota, Jacksonville, the Giants. We'll do that coming up as the Hot Mike mock draft rolls on WDAY Extra and Inforum.com.
Stay prepared for the days and nights ahead with the best weather team. Download the Storm Tracker app, powered by Laney's. Get alerts and updates straight from the WDAY Storm Tracker team with accurate weather reports specific to your area. Just search WDAY in the Apple or Google Play Store. Download the Storm Tracker app and be ready to plan your day. The Storm Tracker app, powered by Laney's. Download it today.
Next ET, it's a star-studded night in New York City at the Time 100 Gala.
Juicy.
Plus, we're in Nashville with Michael J. Fox.
It's a remarkable thing.
And new author Miranda Lambert.
He's like, wait a minute, I do all the cooking and cleaning. How do you have a cookbook?
Then,
hey, ET, this is James Marsden, and this is my ET retrospective.
James's hot take on his most iconic Hollywood roles.
Next, ET.
Weekdays at 6:30 on WDAY WDAZ.
Come on, babe, let's go outside and take the boat out for a ride. I'm ready, I don't want to wait. Get on board. Got the sunshine and the short line. It's a good life. Get on board, get on board. Get on board.
My son had a full-blown asthma attack. It came out of nowhere.
The unsettling thing about some symptoms is you don't always know what's causing them.
He had a reaction triggered by cockroach allergens.
Threats to your health can come from unexpected places. Get the facts. Visit pestworld.org.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. The same way you plan each detail for those moments. Start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
The end of hunger and poverty starts here. Your gift of an animal from Heifer International can help a family with food and income, all while caring for the earth. Heifer International. Learn more at heifer.org.
What would you give for a child you loved to make their wish come true? To help them fight a critical illness? Just imagine what you'd do. You see, wishes are so powerful, and you can make them real. They can give a child back their childhood, even change the way they feel. Every single one of us can make the stars align, because when we come together, hope and joy will shine.
I'm Naheem Hines, running back for the Indianapolis Colts and proud supporter of the Muscular Dystrophy Association. My mom was diagnosed with muscular dystrophy when I was 14, and I watched her struggle. But MDA helped her get the best treatments and care, and they also help kids like my buddy Ethan.
My name is Ethan, and I'm 12 years old. Thanks to the Muscular Dystrophy Association and people like you, I have more hope than ever before. From day one, they've treated me like family at my local care center. AMDA is the only one that funds over 150 care centers across the U.S. to help provide state-of-the-art care for adults and kids like me.
For over 70 years, MDA has been transforming the lives of people living with muscular dystrophy, ALS, and other related neuromuscular diseases. They fund the research for breakthrough treatments, care, and cures. And MDA provides support to thousands of families like mine and Ethan's in communities like yours. Thanks to MDA, kids and adults can live life to its fullest. Join us and learn more at mda.org today.
Welcome back, everybody. The 4th annual Hot Mike mock draft rolls on WDAY Extra, Inforum.com, along with Scott Engen, Drew Trafton, Sam Goetzinger, Eric Bunnell, our great crew, and back. I'm Dom Izzo. We are through 22 picks, and we come back from break because the Minnesota Vikings are on the clock with the 23rd overall pick. I'm just going to run through what the Vikes have done through the last, let's go back 8 years in the first round. I know there are no Viking fans here, but so you guys can give me a little bit of a 80,000-foot view of this. In 2015, it was Trey Waynes. Nope. 2016, Laquan Treadwell. Nope. 17, they didn't have a pick because that was the one they traded to the Eagles for Sam Bradford. 2018, Mike Hughes. Nope. 2019 was Garrett Bradbury. It's all right. They re-signed Bradbury. 2020 worked out. They got Justin Jefferson. Then they went back and got Jeff Gladney. That did not work out, the Gladney pick. 21 was Christian Darrisaw. I think that's coming. I think Darrisaw's got a real chance to be really good. And last year was Lewis Seen, who we didn't really see because he shattered his leg in 8 places in the game in London against the Saints. So I think Viking fans would say, well, we might have 2 first-round picks this year because we really didn't see Seen play last year. Scott, you're going to do the honors of picking for the Vikings this year. So you got all the attention on you here from people that watch or listen to our show. So no pressure.
Our director is putting a whole lot of pressure on you now.
Kyle loves the Vikes, so here you go.
But, I think if the Vikings have this draft fall this way where Jordan Addison goes, there's already been 4 cornerbacks off the board.
Yep.
I think you got to take the best player on the board because they need to help their defense. And there's a guy that shouldn't be here that is still here, and that is Nolan Smith, the linebacker / edge rusher out of Georgia. He missed pretty much the whole year last year, I think, but this guy's an athletic freak. They lost Kendricks. Their defense stinks. Let's get some help there. Put a guy on that side of the ball.
All right, Nolan Smith, linebacker from Georgia with the 23rd overall pick to the Minnesota Vikings.
Is Darius Smith still there?
He is. I see. Something's going to happen. I think Zadarius and Dalvin Cook are not going to be on this team by the end of the weekend. I don't think so.
Where does Dalvin go? What team needs a running back?
There's a handful of teams out there that still need a running back.
Miami
could be one.
Do the Eagles call?
Tampa needs one.
Do the Vikings call to trade up to the Eagles? Dalvin Cook for 10?
You got to give something way more than that.
Something more than that. But
to go from 23 to 10, you got to give up a lot. Probably 1 next year, right?
Cook a second this year, probably.
I don't see Kwesi doing that. They're not moving up that far. No way. It's really interesting to see what I am the belief. Drew and I talked about this on the show yesterday. I think they trade back. I don't think they have this pick at this spot. And if any of the quarterback, if Hooker's still there, I am in the mindset they're taking a quarterback tonight. I believe that. You do. I don't know if if it falls this way, they're probably hosed. Then they're not taking a QB.
Who's after Hooker? I don't even.
Yeah, it drops off. Yeah, it drops off pretty precipitously there. Yeah,
UCLA.
Because they have no plan beyond this year.
Right.
Kirk's the guy this year, and then his contract is up.
I feel like out of those 5 quarterbacks, one of them will be in the 20s, won't they?
In reality, maybe. I don't know. That's the part that's really intriguing about this.
So many teams that need another quarterback to sit behind them, to sit behind their veteran because their veteran is getting older, like a Baker Mayfield. I mean, you gotta find these guys.
According to Todd McShay, after the 5 guys we've talked about, Jake Haener from Fresno State is the next guy up. He's not a first-round guy. No. He's not there. Then Jaron Hall from BYU, DTR, Dorian Thompson-Robinson from UCLA, Clayton Tune from Houston, Aiden O'Connell from Purdue. I mean, no.
Who are these guys?
Right. We're not. You're not taking a QB anywhere close to that early if you're the Vikings. All right, so up next is Jacksonville. The Jags, of course, made it to the second round of the playoffs, had a great win over after they beat Jacksonville. See, I thought about this, but you were talking about the news that came out with Cam Robinson facing a multi-game suspension, Jacksonville's left tackle, for violating PEDs. I thought, Cody, I'm going to stick with that position. I'm going Anton Harrison from Oklahoma. I think there's a chance, from what I have heard, and for people watching, listening to our show, that if there's this many linemen that go this early in the draft, that Cody could slip in to the end of the first round. Does it happen? I'd be shocked, honestly. I still think he's a second-round guy. I got Harrison going he could start. NFL scouts, according to Mel Kiper, love his upside. So I got Harrison going to the Jags. All right, last pick here before, we got time for one more pick. The Giants are up next. Drew, you've got the New York Football Giants, who beat the Vikings, of course, in the wild card game, then lost to the Eagles. They gave Daniel Jones all of his money. Saquon, they haven't signed yet, so I don't know what the Giants are going to do there. What do you think here with the New York Football Giants at 25?
Yeah, I don't think they're going to go running back. I don't think that, I think really for them it's probably between maybe a guard center or a wide receiver. And since that run hasn't really started on those guys with offensive line, like I think that they could probably be a little bit more patient. To me, I think you want to grab that more elite wide receiver option. So I'm going to go with Zay Flowers.
Oh, yeah. Zay Flowers is a really intriguing player from BC that can get down the field, and he is a burner. Kiper has him going to the Chargers in his pick. He's the top-ranked wideout, according to Mel Kiper Jr. He is a player. You could see his high. I watched, actually, this game when Boston College played Syracuse, and he made 2 dynamite catches along the sideline. That's the trick. I mean, Daniel Jones, did he prove it last year? I think to some extent he did. But can he get it down the field? Kenny Golladay, they gave monster money to, and he couldn't get on the field at the end of last. He couldn't get on the field most of the season for the Giants last year.
All the Giants fans I know are just bemoaning not having receiving depth last year, constantly. That was all they would talk about. So it's like, you know what? Here you go. Like, here's a guy who's ready to play right now.
Boy, if that happens, I mean, Kiper has Flowers to the Chargers at 21. If he gets all the way to the Giants, honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if the Vikings went and did that too. I think you were going to say that, weren't you? If the wide receiver is there like him, the Vikings go and do this.
Yeah, I wanted to take Flowers. I just think Nolan Smith is too good to pass at that spot.
But if it happens this way,
Zay Flowers is a great pick to pair with Justin Jefferson. Let's go. That'd be great.
That'd be interesting if they end up doing that. So that's where the Giants go there. All right, Sam, let's do one more pick before we go to our bottom of the hour break. The Dallas Cowboys are up next. Here's Dallas, who, of course, last year won its opening game, then lost to San Francisco, and they somehow had Ezekiel Elliott snapping the ball to Dak Prescott to end the game. They moved on with Zeke at 26. What do we have with the Cowboys? What's going on here?
I'm picking from one of the options that my buddy in Dallas, who works for the K-Fan in Dallas, they've been
got some inside intel here.
Got some inside. And they need help on the defensive line. But from his options, I'm going to take Dalton Kincaid, the tight end over there out of Utah.
This is the most we have matched up with Kiper's mock in the years we've done this. Kiper has Kincaid going 26th overall, the tight end out of Utah.
Yeah.
Says a dynamic pass catcher who can find open spots in the middle of the field and stretch the seams on vertical routes. He'd help Dak Prescott from day one. If the Cowboys don't take a tight end, keep an eye on the edge rushers, which again, what you were just talking about. So Dallas is interesting. I mean, everybody, the NFL wants Dallas to be really good. Dak's thing last year, they finally went over the hump and beat the Bucs on the road and won a playoff game. I don't know. I'll see what happens there. I like that pick, though, if it ends up going. Kincaid's a big dude. Tight end is outstanding.
They got a big hole there,
Yep, that's not bad there. All right, we'll break. We come back. We will wrap up the draft. We've got 5 picks left on all of the heavy hitters outside of one of these teams that all could potentially win the Super Bowl. We'll come back. Hot Mike returns right after this.
Spend less time maintaining your deck and more time relaxing on it with UltraDeck low-maintenance decking from Menards. Get a free estimate instantly with our Design and Buy program. Whether you want space to host a cookout, spend time with family and friends, or just soak up some sun, you can design the deck of your dreams for free. Visit the store or Menards.com and get UltraDeck rustic composite decking for $195 per lineal foot after 11% off at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Catch Bison Softball on WDAY Extra. Watch NDSU take on the North Dakota Fighting Hawks in a doubleheader starting Saturday at noon. Bison Softball only on WDAY Extra. Send your weather-related photos or video to the WDAY Storm Tracker team. Contact weather@wday.com or share them with us on Facebook and Instagram. Keeping an eye on the sky. The WDAY Storm Tracker team.
Federal investigators blame human error for a deadly natural gas explosion.
We all remember where we were that morning.
We could actually see the smoke from our farm here, which is close to 20 miles away.
It started to pull right off the bat. Both tractors just kind of started to spin out, and those are big tractors. So I knew something wasn't right. Out of nowhere, I just heard a big boom. The tile plow ruptured into the pipeline. Once the gas got through the intakes of the tractors is when it ignited. As soon as I heard that boom, I started running as fast as I could. The ground literally started erupting from my feet.
They were highly respected and they were good at what they did. It was one of those accidents that, when it was done, made people step back and pause. If an accident can happen to them, it can happen to anyone.
Watch the rest of the story at 3secondslater.org. And remember, Farm Safe starts by contacting 811.
You got lots of money over here.
I want to go for it. So do I. Let's do it.
You bet your life.
Give me the money. Alrighty. $5,000.
Boosting the economy.
You seriously asking me this question, Jay? Coney Island. What are we doing over here?
Every weekday.
Yeah, give me that money. Oh, yeah. I'm going to give it to you like an Italian uncle. Here you go. You get yourself a little something there. There you go, right there.
Weekdays at 3:30 p.m.
Here it is. Look how cheap it is.
Go for it, Steph. Be careful what you buy online.
It's finally here.
Counterfeit products are illegal. They are fake and can be damaging to you, your property, and your wallet. Go, 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 go!
It looks real, but I don't have a good feeling about this.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! No, get out! Go. Buying fake products can cost you the health of your face, skin, and eyes, or scar you for life. Real products are tested for safety. Buy the brand. Protect yourself. This message is brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council and the United States Patent and Trademark Office.
You're smart. Buy smart.
Go for real.
Go for real.
Go for real.
Welcome back, everybody. The 4th annual Hot Mic mock draft rolls on. Kyle Strecker, we're going to need a breaking news sounder here before we resume the draft. You let me go when you guys are ready, and then I'm going to hit you with something from Pro Football Talk. All right. From Pro Football Talk, and apparently this morning on the Pat McAfee show, and also from, I didn't know Pac-Man Jones had a podcast, but he has a pipeline to DeAndre Hopkins, the Arizona Cardinals standout wide receiver, who Pac-Man Jones sources say he'll be traded to the Chiefs or the Bills sometime today. What do we make of that? DeAndre Hopkins going.
I don't believe it.
No?
No.
I believe it.
I think Buffalo.
It just hurts.
To Buffalo getting, or Kansas City getting this guy?
Please no. Please no.
Unless he turns
Kansas
into
City,
one of those washed-up guys.
He's not going to turn into that.
Yeah,
Kansas City traded away Tyreek Hill and still won the Super Bowl.
Right.
So,
I mean, come on.
Kansas City doesn't need him. Buffalo needs him.
Great getting him out of the division.
I was going to say, yeah, right. I was going to say, you're okay with that.
That's about as far
Wait a
as
minute.
you can go. I love it.
Let's go back to what you just said. Stephon Diggs is not going to be thrilled if DeAndre Hopkins is playing in Buffalo, no? He wants the ball 200 times.
Yes, he wants the ball, but he also needs like another big-time wide receiver there to help him get open.
Like who left on the board, even if it doesn't fall this way, is a better pick for either of those?
Yeah. Nobody.
Nobody.
No, nobody.
Yeah.
That's the part we talked about this off the top. There's going to be something like this happen tonight, whether it's Trey Lance, whether it's DeAndre Hopkins or somebody else. Could it possibly be Lamar Jackson? Something like that, earth-shattering that happened tonight. That's what lay out our best plans. And Drew was saying, yeah, I like our draft. There's no way this is going to happen in reality because there's going to be some sort of monstrous trade like this could potentially go down. Okay, just to update the last few picks here before we went to commercial break. We had Jordan Addison, wide receiver from Southern California, going to the Baltimore Ravens. Nolan Smith, linebacker from Georgia, going to the Vikings. Anton Harrison, offensive tackle from Oklahoma, going to the Jaguars with the 24th pick. Zay Flowers, wide receiver from Boston College, going to the Giants. And then Dalton Kincaid, the tight end from Utah, going to the Cowboys with the 26th overall pick. So that leads us to, lo and behold, the Buffalo Bills. Eric Bunnell, you are on the clock with the Bills. What are they going to do here?
So after watching like their playoff games last year, they need help on the defensive side of the ball, specifically to help out their cornerbacks and safeties. And how do you do that? You bolster your D-line, somebody who can rush the passer. And I looked this up to make sure this is the exact location where this guy is from.
Okay.
So I'm going back to my home state of Wisconsin.
Ooh.
This school has produced two NFL superstars.
Okay.
And one guy
who's in the NFL.
He's in the NFL. He's pretty good. Will McDonald.
All right.
I think it's the fifth from
Fourth, yep.
Pewaukee, Wisconsin.
Okay, who are the other guys from this town?
Oh, I think you know them. I think their names are JJ, TJ, and Derek Watt.
Really?
Yeah.
All from the same school.
All from the same school.
Wow. By the way, you're in sync here with Mel Kiper. He's got that. He says he sees a fit for McDonald in Buffalo. Although he might not be an every down player as a rookie, his ceiling is high. I'm a big fan of McDonald's speed game, though he still needs to develop more pass rush moves. John Wheeler be flipping out if an Iowa State guy goes in the first round of the NFL draft. All right, we're up to the Cincinnati Bengals here with the 28th overall pick. Of course, they made the AFC Championship game, lost to Kansas City. Joe Burrow's team is stacked. They went and addressed offensive line last year with our guy Cordell Volson in the 4th round. You're going to pick here, Scott, for the Bengals. I'm sure you love that, with the 28th overall pick. What do we got here?
The Bengals obviously are a great team, hoping to win that championship right now. They lost Jesse Bates in the offseason to Atlanta. You can't keep running Eli Apple out there and thinking you're going to win a Super Bowl. Brian Branch is on the board. He's got to go here.
Everybody's taking my picks.
Brian Branch has to go here. I really thought that they could go offensive weapon with a tight end like Kincaid if he fell. But with what I see on the board, Brian Branch makes a lot of sense.
All right. That's a good pick there. Sam's just furious over here.
I'm not a late round drafter. This is horrible.
He's not used to have that pick in the late
Who are you thinking next so I can grab him here?
McDonald and Branch, and I'm not going to tell you who I would know.
Let's roll the dice. Let's see what we got here.
What do we make of the Bengals? Of Cincinnati, I mean, they are absolutely loaded. They have everything that you could hope for. Offensive line and secondary is probably the two spots, I'd say, Drew, that's where you're looking at. I'm like, that if they shore that, I mean, literally, they're a dumb penalty from likely winning that game in Kansas City.
Yeah, and, this is another case where the rich could get richer as well, where, like, if they feel like they could go with a running back option, just add to that depth. A tight end, maybe because of this tight end class being so deep. You can really pick your weapon there. I do like the defense, like the call to go defense though. Like that's smart. Your offense is going to be potent no matter what. In defense these days in the NFL doesn't seem to year to year it doesn't translate quite as well as it used to. So you can't just rely on having a good defense every year, and that makes a lot of sense.
All right, we're now up. Drew's up here with the Saints. While you're asking New Orleans picks here, this is a fun little trade snake that happened. The Saints got this via Denver, who got it from Miami, who got it from San Francisco. So that's how the Saints are picking this late here in the first round of the NFL draft. What do we hear? New Orleans obviously went and signed Derek Carr. Yeah. So they think they've addressed the quarterback spot there. They had Chris Olave, the great wide receiver from Ohio State, they took last year in the first round. I'm intrigued what they do here with the Saints.
I think they go defense here.
Okay.
I think what you do is you just take the best player available. They need edge. They need tackle. They need a lot there. Am I making you nervous?
Yeah, a little bit.
I'm sweating bullets over here.
This is a guy actually.
We might go to commercial break here for him.
That I think if Seattle doesn't get Jalen Carter, this could be their pick at 20.
Oh, okay.
I really like Kalijah Cansey from Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Dodged it. Jeez.
Pitt's got a couple of dudes, too. That we could see that happen here in the first round of the draft. Okay, so he's off the board to the Saints at the 29th overall pick. All right, Sam, you've got the Philadelphia Eagles up with the 30th pick. I took Bijan Robinson to the Eagles with the 10th pick earlier in this draft. Now they come back and pick 30th here at the end of the first round.
Right. It seems like defense is what is needed. And what was I going to go? I was going to go with McDonald, and then I was going to go with Brian Branch. So now that they're off the board, I wasn't going to initially take this one, but I've seen it in a couple of mock drafts, and I think it would be fun for the guys in the back to try to spill this one out. Defensive end / tackle out of Northwestern, Adetomiwa Adebawore. I don't know if I got that right.
You got it, man.
Nice
job.
Yeah.
You're a professional broadcaster.
That one. Yeah,
okay.
we'll go with him. I think they need help on the line. I've seen him up there. He's probably going to slip into the later rounds, but when we get to this point and I'm scrambling, I'm going to go with him.
All right. That's... apparently Strecker's not happy with that pick either.
And I like that. So at least we can win somewhere on that.
Upset somebody on that. There you go. Gosh, Phil, you talk about the rich get richer. That's really interesting there if that ends up coming to pass. All right, so the final pick here of the first round belongs to the Kansas City Chiefs. And we know what they have. They've got plenty of great weapons. They went and won the Super Bowl with Isaiah Pacheco in the he was a 7th round? Was he a 7th round guy or a 6th round guy?
7th out of Rutgers.
So I'm sitting here looking at what else can we give old Patrick Mahomes? And there's a guy sitting here that I don't think this will happen, but if it does, everybody in the AFC is going to be cursing it. I'm going to take, for the Chiefs, Jahmyr Gibbs, the running back from Alabama, with that last pick of the first round. Because why not? Why wouldn't they do that? Yeah. You know? Why? That's such an Andy Reid kind of thing that Kansas City would do to bolster their offense and give them one more stud there. And, you know, Edwards-Helaire, they may have probably moved on from him. That Pacheco, right, became the guy in the later part of the season. Gibbs is really good. From Todd McShay, who has him going to the Bengals at 28. Says, Gibbs has mentioned a lot to me this week. I really think he ends up in the first round at 5'9", 199. He isn't going to be a true 3-down back. And he doesn't need to be in Kansas City, but can change an entire offense because of his open field elusiveness, pass catching traits, and speed. That's everything the Chiefs would like at that spot. So I'm going to have him go with Jahmyr Gibbs there with the final pick of the first round. Okay, there you have it, folks. And at 10:45 to boot, producer upstairs will be thrilled about that. What do we make of this of the draft? What are the Kyle, when you can bring up the graphic there, the first round, the first half of the first round. What surprises? What are the chances we get half of these right here tonight? We'll go around the room. Scott, you can start. What do we think?
I think we got a lot of these positions right, but it's just really hard to know which player a team likes. Yeah. But a lot of these make a ton of sense. I think Hendon Hooker at 19 to Tampa is really interesting. But up in the top, I think C.J. Stroud is crazy to get to Detroit.
So where do you think he really lands then, Stroud?
I think that if he doesn't go second to the Texans, that the Arizona Cardinals.
I don't think he's going second.
I don't either at this point. But if he doesn't, I think 3. Someone trades there and gets him. Okay. I don't think he gets past 3. Someone's moving up. I think the Titans are going to do it personally, but we'll see what happens. Otherwise, surprises to me. I think Quentin Johnson from TCU falling out of the first is interesting. I could see him going to the Giants or to Kansas City because I think, like you said, Jahmyr Gibbs, the rich getting richer. Yeah. Quentin Johnson could make sense there too. Also, there's not a true offensive guard, I don't think, taken in the entire first round. I know Skoronski is probably going to move inside, but I think that's a little interesting.
That's where my guy Cody Mount goes in the second round because they're going to move him inside from tackle to guard. So
we'll
I think
see what
he's going to
happens
be
there. But this was fun. I could see this all playing out. But like we've been saying, there's going to be some trades that shake it all up, and then our draft board just falls apart.
Drew, the nightmare fuel for you apparently is Bijan Robinson with the Eagles at 10. What
That's
else?
Just, oh my goodness. You know, it very well could happen.
Yeah.
That's the reality of this. The thing that I see that looks really interesting to me, looking at the board, how it played out, was if we assume that Arizona is trying to trade out, which we know they are, and Tennessee moves up, and Arizona moves out, then one of those quarterbacks is going to fall.
Oh yeah,
and they're going to fall farther than we have them falling. And I think there's a catch point there for maybe whoever that is at 16 with the Commanders, maybe at that point. But that's just that there could be real options on the board for the Minnesota Vikings at 23.
Yeah, right.
They might have more than one option there. It might be, some combination of Will Levis, Hendon Hooker, Anthony Richardson. Just, we don't know.
Yep.
As one NFL GM said to Ian Rappaport, I saw on Twitter yesterday, this is going to be the weirdest draft ever. and if the general managers are saying that, like, buckle up.
Yep.
It's going to be fun.
Mr. Goetzinger, you are a diehard Colts fan. If this actually plays out, you made the Colts
I'm
pick.
standing by it.
You're standing by this.
like
Anthony Richardson's happening? Okay, if this comes, you're going to be in Hankinson tonight.
Yeah.
If this, you're watching the draft down there, and this actually happens, what's the reaction going to be?
Jumping, I'll give Cody a hug. I'll walk right up to him. It's a quarterback that the Colts have never had.
Dual threat guy
in the history of even back in Baltimore. It's just
Johnny Unitas is not known for his scrambling ability.
No, but Carson Wentz wasn't either. So what is he, about 6'5"? He's got a cannon of an arm, can move around. You pair him up with Jonathan Taylor. Yep. I'm hoping maybe later on in the draft they can pick up another wide receiver or something like that somewhere, another weapon down the road. But that's probably not the biggest concern. I'll stick with that at 4, but I agree with Drew. I do think there's going to be a lot of shaking in these quarterbacks. Even to 12 with the Texans, I could see something happening there. But I feel like there will be an option in that 16, 19 with the Bucks, and then somewhere in the 20s. I feel like there could be an option. One of those guys, one of those 5.
History will tell us if let's say it's 5 guys that are taken in the first round. Half of these guys are going to miss.
Oh, yeah.
They're not going to pan out. Let's pick 2 of them. 2 of the 5 are going to click. Who is it going to be in your guys' mind? Like 3 or 4 years from now, we're saying, like we did with the 20 draft with Burrow, that was a slam dunk. I think Young is going to be sensational. I do. His size doesn't bug me. And I'm with you. I think Richardson's going to be a stud.
That's who I would go
Young
with,
and
too.
Richardson are my 2.
Young and Richardson.
Those are the 2 I would say would click.
We're just talking about quarterbacks?
Just QBs. Of the 5 that are drafted, who are the 2 you think that will click?
I just don't see a lot in C.J. Stroud. I went to a couple. I went to an Ohio State game, and I know that was young in his college career. Just didn't see a lot, and I mean he had a lot of guys around him.
He does
down there with the Buckeyes.
So.
I see. The funny thing is, I see the safest floor with C.J. Stroud. Just because I think he has his concern is now we know processing and all of that, but I've seen that on the field from him. In real situations where I have real concerns about Bryce Young's size. I have, I don't know what Richardson's gonna Richardson, no doubt, has the highest ceiling.
Yep.
But we've seen how quarterbacks that are built like that last in the NFL, and Cam Newton, for as explosive as he was, he's not playing anymore. So it's tough. It is so tough.
Well, Cam said he was ready to back up Anthony Richardson, so he's all set. So wherever he goes, Cam's got a backup
we
job
could
there.
take him. We need him.
Boys, this was so much fun. Thanks for coming in and doing this again. We had a couple of new first-timers in here. You guys did great. You're more than welcome to come back next year. And if depending on how many you get right, you can come back and gloat that you are great draft minds, all right? Right now, the bar is 1 because Trafton got 1 last year with a Seahawks pick. So if you get above that, You might get to Hall of Fame status here, huh?
Yeah, it will stay at 1. I'm pretty sure.
Trades are going to blow this up.
All right, we'll take our final break. We'll come back. We'll wrap this puppy up right after this on Hot Mic on WDAY Extra at Inforum.com.
Stay prepared for the days and nights ahead with the best weather team. Download the Storm Tracker app, powered by Laney's. Get alerts and updates straight from the WDAY Storm Tracker team with accurate weather reports specific to your area. Just search WDAY in the Apple or Google Play Store. Download the Storm Tracker app and be ready to plan your day. The Storm Tracker app, powered by Laney's. Download it today.
This is the man, the myth, the legend. Meet the pros behind the pros. Tommy D'Addario's trainer has a workout and a chicken parm that'll do a body good.
Check this out.
Then, get a glow up with Xana Roberts-Rossi's makeup artist.
I think lip liner is huge. Everyone's wearing it. Everyone should wear it.
And it's mine over Mally with her motivational coach. Plus,
make your own takeout.
Mixed Rachel.
Weekdays at 3 on WDAY WDAZ. Catch Bison Softball on WDAY Extra. Watch NDSU take on the North Dakota Fighting Hawks in a doubleheader starting Saturday at noon. Bison Softball only on WDAY Extra. Send your weather-related photos or video to the WDAY Storm Tracker team. Contact weather@WDAY.com or share them with us on Facebook and Instagram. Keeping an eye on the sky. The WDAY Storm Tracker team.
Autism is a common but such a heterogeneous, such a complex condition that describes many different individuals with different types of symptoms and different types of challenges. As a physician, I had so many questions, and unfortunately, when patients would come to me, I couldn't really give them a lot of answers. As a geneticist as well, I started to appreciate that at least for some individuals with autism, there was an underlying genetic basis, and that we could really start to understand in a much more precise way what was going on for them by understanding the genes, how it affects the brain, how it affects behavior, and how it affects other parts of the body as well. When we think about how many people we need to answer the hundreds of questions that we all have about autism, we start to need tens of thousands of individuals that have the same types of symptoms to be able to answer those questions. Join us today. Go to sparkforautism.org.
I've been doing this for a long time. Somebody has to stand up for victims.
Detective Stabler, my partner, Detective Benson.
The world is changing. It took a lot of courage to get up on that stand. There's no stigma in coming forward. Please help me stop him.
He's not gonna ever be able to hurt you again.
I promise you.
I'll protect you.
I'm not gonna stop until we find this guy.
Weekdays at 12 p.m.
If alcohol builds a wall around you that doesn't let you see where you're going, that keeps you feeling isolated and alone, that makes you feel hopeless, know this. We're here to help if you want us to. It's never too early or too late to ask for help with a drinking problem. Alcoholics Anonymous. There is a way out. For more information, visit aa.org and download the Meeting Guide app.
Don't forget, NFL draft coverage continues. Tonight we'll be in Hankinson for our newscast, and tomorrow we'll be back as well for the Cody Mouth Watch Party. Our coverage on Extra begins at 6:30. We're on from 6:30 to 9 tomorrow night. The second round of the NFL draft begins at 6 o'clock. Coverage will begin on Extra. We'll go to ABC following that. So you can have two screens going. You can have ABC, WDAY on one, have us on the other. I think that sounds like a dynamite way to watch the draft. Special thanks to everybody for stopping by. That was a blast, and hope you enjoyed that as much as I did and we did of putting that together. The draft is on tonight, 7 o'clock, the first round. You can watch it on WDAY along with ESPN. And, of course, we'll have live coverage from Hankinson tonight, potentially to see if Cody Mauch gets drafted in the first round. Our thanks to Scott Engen, Drew Trafton, Sam Goetzinger, Eric Bunnell, our great guys in back for making the show happen. If you missed any of it, you can podcast it later today at Inforum.com. Enjoy the draft, everybody. We'll see you back here tomorrow to recap everything on Hot Mike on WDAY Extra at Inforum.com.
Healthy Systems USA Spring Sale. Get 2-month program, 1-month price. It's like getting 1 month for free. Buy it for yourself or split it with a friend. Lose up to 1 pound of fat a day.
If you've got that, don't worry about that. Healthy Systems USA.
If you can't work because of your health, what you're going through is hard. Paying bills, seeing your doctor, and fighting a denial of Social Security disability benefits is even harder. But calling us is easy.
At the Schneider Law Firm, our job is to help you get the disability insurance benefits you've paid for. From disability to workers' comp and personal injury, for us, it's about results for you.
Call 877-740-2525, the Schneider Law Firm.
Join WDAY Sports for NFL draft coverage. Live from Hankinson, North Dakota. Live interviews with NFL hopefuls and much more as the community prepares for Cody Mauch's future in the NFL. Only on WDAY Extra. Friday at 6:30.
I've been a GH fan my entire life. I love the Tam Fam. I still think about the time I was at Port Charles.
I don't believe it.
But you can believe our shows are on back-to-back. GH fans and the Tam Fam love a good story.
Weekdays at 1 p.m. and 2 p.m.
This is a murder mystery of epic proportions. You get this picture of a jealous guy, thinks she's got a lover, and bang, she's dead.
What possessed you to do that?
Could this be a murder for hire?
When you've got something that was this bad,
somebody's got to pay.
Dateline. Weekdays at 1 p.m.
Healthy Systems USA Spring Sale. Get 2-month program, 1-month price. It's like getting 1 month for free. Buy it for yourself or split it with a friend. Lose up to 1 pound of fat a day.
If you've got that, don't worry about that. Healthy Systems USA.
News.
Happy Thursday. Live look outside in Grand Forks and you can see the dreary skies we've had the past couple of days with those rain clouds off and on and rain showers off and on. And they'll continue throughout the day today. Off and on rain showers. Sometimes you'll see more showers than other times throughout the day. And then jumping into the weekend, which of course starts tomorrow through Sunday. The last few days of April just don't look all too nice. Chilly and breezy. We'll talk about how windy it could get. And then the first week of May, of course, May starts on Monday, and the weather looks a lot more May-like. We'll take a look at it.